to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Now, today we're tackling something that's quietly impacting every part of our lives: processed foods. Did you know they can shorten our lifespans up to 18%? But it doesn't stop there. Processed foods are affecting how we think, our moods, our focus, and even how we relate to others. Now, we're going to dig into how these foods are linked to cancer, dementia, autism, and other health issues. Most importantly, we'll talk about real solutions, how we can make healthier choices for ourselves and our families. This isn't just about food, it's about reclaiming control over our health, our minds, and our lives. So let's get into it. I have a panel of beautiful queens, royal, beautiful panel today. We have Tiara Williams, producer and actress. We have Constance Carter, wealth activist. We have Dr. Alicia Watkins, social worker and human rights advocate. And we have Aisha Verzi, financial expert. Ladies, now, first, I'm going to just kind of ask you a simple question. Do you struggle with your weight? And do you see, if you do you see a difference when you eat healthier and non-processed foods? So I'm going to start with you, Constance.
Absolutely. So I try to work out. I've been working out for at least 16, 17 years. Like I go faithfully. I go to the gym because I created this habit. Do you guys know about creating a habit? You do something for 21 days and you create a habit. So I get up and I go to the gym every day. Sometimes I don't get up out the car. I stay up in the motherfucking car, but I go to the gym every single day. Okay? Because it's a habit.
It's a habit.
It's a habit. So, but I do go to the gym, and the last couple of weeks, because I had started this podcast, I hadn't had a chance, just trying to do the content stuff in the morning, but I hadn't been to the gym. I went to the gym yesterday, and boy, it kicked my ass. That's the reason why I know that I don't stop going, is because I know when you stop going, then it's hard to start. But then, as far as eating, yeah, like the other day, like I try to eat like cookies and stuff. But the other day I had cookies because I just wanted something real quick, and my stomach was hurting. And I think when you're so used to eating junk and your stomach hurts, it's just part of life. But when you don't eat it and your stomach and you're feeling fine, and then you start eating it again, it kind of messes you up.
Yeah, it definitely can. How about you, Dr. Alicia?
Hey, self-care is self-love. So I pay myself first, like when you invest. So I'm an accountability person. I have to have another person there edging me on. If not, I'm just going to sit on the couch. If I don't sign up for a race and have a reason to get up and go do my running, I'm just going to sit on the couch and eat. So I need to sign up for things and to just get out there and have interactions with other people. That's what helps me to exercise. So I sign up for the boot camp. It's not that expensive. And what's more expensive is having a healthcare problem, being unhealthy. That's very expensive. So I invest in myself because I love myself and I pay attention to what I eat. So I don't eat street food. And I grew up in a household, we didn't eat street food. So it's paying attention, it's setting, like Constance talked about, it's really making these habits of taking care of yourself and loving yourself.
Exactly. How about you, Aisha?
Good morning, everyone. That's a great point. And I also love what Dr. Alicia said, is the habits that you form, right? And for me, it's really taking cold showers. I take cold shower to just really wakes your body up so that when you eat, you feel clean, and the food that you prepare and the habits you form around food. And growing up in Africa, our food is very clean anyway. We go to the market, practically you feel like you're in the market 3 times a week, buying fresh foods. And if you don't get there on time, you don't find anything because it's finished. So we're used to that. And I do the same thing here in America. My kids are not used to eating anything other than home cooked meal, and it's fresh foods all the time. So really for me, I'm used to that. It's part of my life, the way I was raised, and I love it, and really, if we're not careful, in my field in finance, they actually talked about that. They said more Americans are going to have chronic illness. It's going to be the number one problem we have. Not even dying, is chronic illness. So 7 out of 9 people 7 out of 9 are going to have chronic illness because of the diet we have. So self-care and, just really being intentional and forming great habits is so important. And that's how I stay in that space, make sure I keep good habits that I was raised with.
That's a really high number, but you're right on point with that. So how about you, Tiara?
I'm a bit of an extremist too. Like every year, before the new year, I have to run 100 miles into the new year to set myself up. I juice. I'm like, I'm going vegan for 6 months. I'm doing this. So I'm very extreme in that way. What makes my life hard is my daughter. She be like, Mom, let's go get some ice cream. Let's eat pizza. You know what I want? Let's go get a burger. I be like, yeah, burger. So my daughter is, she's the angel and a bad influence. She is the serpent in my garden. She is a bad influence. So lately, her and I just go to the gym, and then I've just been making fresh vegetables actually, I'm 28 days no processed food right now. So she just kind of got and I feel great. But I've been making foods, and she's been like, I've been feeling healthy at home with my mom. But she go to her dad's house, she's eating sausage and biscuits and rice and gravy. They from the South. So,
And I grew up.
Girl, my mouth is watering. Don't say it.
I'm
eating oatmeal.
Well, me, all of my life, I have battled weight. I have always been on the chubby side. I've always struggled with it. And I never understood why, because we had a homegrown garden. And I do mean a big one, because I grew up on land. We also grew our own beef, and we had chickens, and we had all that stuff. So I grew up in the country. But just because of that, you also use lard, you also use full butter, and I struggled with weight my whole life. It wasn't until I turned 49, 50 and I'm now 54, that I've been able to be very stable with my weight. So I've lost a total of 135 pounds. Yes. And so now I'm in maintenance, but I also have gained a little bit because I'm an emotional eater. And with the death of my sisters, I struggled with that. But one thing that has also helped me with that is the thought of my sister who used to run 7 miles a day. I too run now. And like you, Tira, I kind of do what you do, but every year since I've lost my weight, I've run the mileage of years, like run, walk. So 2025, I will get 2025 in by the end of the year. And I've done that now for 5 years straight. So I think we all have expressed, like we all deal with it. But I can tell you right now, when I stopped eating processed foods, baby, life, clarity, I felt better, woke up better, no headaches, none of that. But it could be very, very sneaky for us. And food is really kind of hard to, you think you're eating healthy until you flip that package around and you really see what's in there. So I'm asking you, family, are you on the struggle bus with food? Do you find it hard to eat healthy, or are you okay just eating what you get out of the grocery store to make, I call it convenience food that's already prepared for you? What are your struggles? And we'd love to hear that from you. But I want us to look at this video because I think it's very important for us to continue our conversation. Let's check this out.
We are getting destroyed, and it's very recent, and it's accelerating. The stats speak for themselves. You know this very well. 74% of Americans are overweight or obese. 50% now of American adults have type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. These were diseases where there was 1% of Americans in 1950 had type 2 diabetes. Now it's 50% of Americans have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. Alzheimer's, dementia are going through the roof. Young adult dementias have increased like 3 times since 2012. So early onset dementias, we're seeing this 1 in 2 Americans are expected to have cancer in their lifetime now. 1 in 2, and young adult cancers are going up 79% in the last 10 years. We've got, of course, the autism rates are absolutely astronomical. 1 in 36 children has autism now in the United States. That was 1 in 150 in the year 2000. And in California, where I live, it's 1 in 22. 1 in 22 with a lifetime neurodevelopmental disorder. We've got infertility going up 1% per year. 25% of men now under 40 have erectile dysfunction. A quarter of the country. This is fundamentally a metabolic disease. We've got 77% of young Americans can't serve in the military because of obesity or drug abuse. We've got autoimmune diseases. Some studies are saying they're going up 13% per year. It's really unbelievable. And I could go through so many more diseases. Of course, we've got heart disease, which is almost totally preventable as the leading cause.
These numbers are absolutely frightening. Armando, who is one of our stable watchers. Hello, Armando. Thank you for coming in today. He says, yes, I have developed my own eating habits to stay healthy and grow food, to keep learning how and what to eat. And, I think that most of us really need to think about that. It's really not that hard to grow food. You can even do it in pots on your patio. But we're going to discuss what that Joe Rogan interview, although I don't like him, I think the subject is great, and what that means for us in our lives. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens, that's Queens, that's Queens, to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want
Queens 87948. You don't want to miss any of our shows, and you'll get a notice every day when we go live, so that hey, whatever you're doing, you forgot what time of day it is. Ding, ding, ding. The Queens are on. The Queens are on. So you want to make sure that you text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948. Yes, and yes. All right, ladies. After losing so much weight and really getting focused on the quality of food that I eat, when I talk to people, because they always ask you how you do it, but then when you tell them what you're doing, they don't want to do what you do. They want some magic pill. So, Dr. Aisha, what is the first thing you think of when you hear processed foods?
Dr. Alicia or Dr. Aisha? Dr. Alicia or
I'm
Aisha? I was like, wait, who are you talking to?
Yeah, I'm mushing us all together. Sorry about that, Dr. Alicia.
All right. So, processed foods. Well, processed foods, I want to take a different stance on that. Processed foods is cheap. Fruits and vegetables are expensive. So how dare us sit here and talk about buy fruits and vegetables and eat healthy and all of this stuff? Have you been to Whole Foods? Have you been to the grocery store and see what is expensive, what grocery prices are increasing, and what is affordable? Have you been to the McDonald's when they had their dollar menu? Do you understand that it's easy for some people to talk about eat healthy foods when ramen is 90 something cents? So, processed foods is bad for you, and we're giving you all this information, but what's the point of doing stuff like that if it's so expensive? And that's the real problem that we have. And Constance Carter, thank you so much, sent me some very, very troubling information related to food. I'm changing the subject a little bit, but Donald Trump or the Orange Man just ordered a federal spending freeze on temporary assistance for needy families. Talk to them about fruits and vegetables. And the special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children.
It's directly tied, Aisha. I'm not. I keep want to call you Dr. Alicia. It's directly tied because our communities are the ones who are always first affected, period. So I lived in Louisville, Kentucky for a long time, my whole life. and we had our first Black grocery store in the West End. They were the last to get the deliveries for any fresh food. They were the last of everything. In fact, it didn't even last a good 2 years. That grocery store had to close. So the government doesn't care about us at all. This is not shocking to me and whatsoever. Matter of fact, I'm surprised this orange Muppet didn't do it on day one. I feel like I'm living through 2 years and we've only been 1 week. So what we need to do is to really focus on not what they're taking away from us, on how we can get together to help us be more healthy, to be more active, to spread the wealth, but you got to want it. So our community needs to want it. He can take all the fuck things he wants to take away, but I am not going to let him take my joy, period. So fuck him. All right, next. I'm sorry. I'm so
That's
sorry.
why we weren't talking about foreign aid today. That's why we didn't want to do that, because we just want to keep Lala in joy. Go ahead, Lala.
Joy.
We're not going to bring up Donald Trump today. It's all good. We'll talk about him tomorrow.
That's okay, but that's what he's planning on doing. So we're not going to allow him to steal our joy. All right. So this actually does bring up something, though, because this does tie into this. Like Dr. Alicia, you mentioned very clearly, and I'm with you. Like, how much is freaking food? Like, I know when I'm eating healthy, my food bill goes through the roof. But guess what? There's also stores like, that's why I love Trader Joe's, because it's more affordable. But, you know, you got sneaky things like Whole Foods giving you processed food. And you think just because you're shopping at Whole Foods and paying 4 times more that you're getting the healthier version when you're not. So now I'm going to say the correct name, Aisha. Do you check the food labels when you go grocery shopping?
That's a great question. It depends on what I'm shopping for, right? I try not to buy things that are processed anyways. It's just not how I was raised. So I don't even gravitate towards that. But if I do pick up something, if the ingredients are more than 3 that I cannot pronounce, I'm not buying it, because I understand that it won't even taste right. So I'm not even going to buy it. And one thing I do try to do, honestly, is try to shop what is in season, right? God is so merciful to us that if we just follow the rules of nature, we don't have to suffer that much, because every food in season is in abundance. It's in abundance, and you grow it faster, quicker, and they're actually looking for a way to store it because there's so much of it, right? So just try to eat what it's in season. And if you do that as much as you can, it makes it easier for all of us. But if we try to eat food out of season, then now it's been preserved so that we can have what we want. So sometimes that affects us. So reading the labels, to me, it's only if I have to, but most of the time is what I know. Spinach, potatoes, tomatoes. That's what I'm buying, and that's what I'm making at home. I don't make it complicated. Eat the same kinds of food most of the time, and it makes my food eating clean, right? But really, that's how I stay away from even trying to read labels. It's just buying foods in season, in abundance, and just use it.
Well, you know, what's really interesting about that, you're right. You know, when you're buying fresh, you know, you kind of know, okay, you have a little bit of control over that. But like and this ties into to, you know, eating healthy and also economics and those who have more and more and not. So when you get a can of green beans, you would expect you wouldn't have to read a can of green beans, right? But when you flip them over, one of the first ingredients you see in that can of green beans is sugar.
Yeah.
And salt.
And
who
salt.
the hell needs that? And a can of green beans, right? I mean, it's a struggle. So Constance, you know, what's that one processed food, that one that you just can't seem to give up?
First, Lala, I need to really address the elephant in the room on that video. I don't think that we discussed. I feel like, you know, we're all going to die, and there's all these different ways to die, but having a man that's 40 years old with erectile dysfunction is a problem for me. That's where I draw the line. We all gonna die one day, but this ED thing we gotta address. Black men start eating right. We out here. Listen, I'm almost 50. I'm at my peak. I need you guys to be functioning properly. Stick together. That's all I got to say about that. I don't know what else.
Thank you, Constance. That's a great comment.
We need that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, why are we gonna gloss over like that wasn't just said?
Oh, I can't. Okay, but I gotta get back on topic. Y'all really kind of, you know, y'all helpful a lot today. You have changed. You say you go back and forth with things, but you know what? How do you feel after eating a meal that's made with fresh ingredients? You know, you've kind of taken out the sugar, you've kind of taken out the salt. How does this make you feel?
I feel better. I feel better around the board. Like you said, just looking at because what I know is from our diet, we are either used to like sweet or savory. Like Americans need a certain they need certain texture to their food and they need to taste a certain way. But it just felt good. Like I'm like, okay, I can't take my taste buds feel like they've changed. Like I'm not eating things that are. Have you guys ever watched there's these TikTok videos, and I wish I would have added it to this show, where you can see like what 56 grams of sugar looks like. It'll have the food and then have all the grams of sugar stacked up. You know, that can't be good, right? Or if it's showing you all the milligrams of salt that is in your food, it's just like overdose. Like it just feels like too much. And so what I was doing was I thought I was being healthy. I was drinking, like, I go to the gym, I have a Gatorade and be like, I'm getting my electrolytes, you know, not knowing that I'm also with those electrolytes, also getting 60 grams of sugar every time I have one, having them every day. And that's just my drink on top of the things that I'm already eating, the occasional donuts. I'm like, ooh, there's a donut. It's just one or one cookie or, you know, so, you know, I feel good. I really do. I feel less inflamed. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I noticed that when I'm eating better, like I don't wake up with that headache or I don't wake up with that hangover. Like, you know, that I don't feel so good hangover. I'm 54. I will be 55 next month. I'm going to tell you, I feel better now than I did when I was in my 20s. Like I can
Yeah.
get up and not have the same hangovers or not like, oh, my back hurts. And let me tell you something else. I have three bulging discs in my back. And they were bothering me all the time when I was 285. I was just miserable. I couldn't move. I couldn't sit long, you know, and it would take my breath. Like if it shifted, I would can't breathe, you know. And then when I lost all my weight, poof, gone,
Yeah.
because it doesn't have that pressure on my body anymore. So it's safe to say that, you know, we all need to be aware of what we're putting in our body. We are not separated. We are mind, body, and spirit. And as Dr. Alicia said, you know, self-love is loving yourself too, right? And so sometimes we just don't think about the things that we put into our bodies could be affecting us on all three of those levels. Because
Yeah.
if you don't feel good, you definitely don't feel good spiritually, and your body don't feel good either. So, you know, it's just, and sugar is so dangerous in so many different ways, and it's in absolutely everything. But we're going to take a
You
quick
know,
break.
oh,
Oh,
okay. Well, I was just going to ask Dr. Alicia. I would love to know after the break, like if we've listened to the statistics that they said about like autism and neurodivergent conditions and like all the things, if you can like shed some light on how processed foods are changing our moods and all of that stuff, I would love that because I don't think people know that those things are linked.
that sounds good. And I think we also have some wonderful graphics to support all of that. So we'll
Okay.
be right back.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
Get your money right. Listen, we are Fly Nubian Money. So this is what we do. We help you to get it together. Listen, we have wonderful free resources for you. So you just need to do a little tip, on your computer and go to flynubianmoney.com. We have a lot of resources for you who may be just confused about where to start. Or you just confused, or maybe you're afraid to even look at it. Let's face it, sometimes, a lot of the times when you are in financial stress, you put your head in the sand and you don't want to look at it. Well, you can't get started if you don't know where you are. We can put you at the starting line. We're there with you because now we can help you see the goal. So all you have to do is make sure you go to flynubianmoney.com, get your free resources, and get your financial house in order. Now, I am going to actually turn it over to Dr. Alicia to answer that question that Tiara had before break.
Yeah, we all know the link between what you put in your body and the effect that it has on your mental health. We all know the right foods to eat, but there's still a block there because people aren't doing better, even though they know better. And I think I want to comment on the emotional eating piece. Comfort food is there because we don't have a connection with the people around us. Things happen to disrupt things. And just like all addictions, being addicted to food and turning to what we consider comfort food to make us feel good when we're going through psychological distress, that's a way of coping with the lack of connection. And when we are connecting and we have positive, happy relationships with people around us, then we tend to treat ourselves better. And so I think that that's a signal to you. If you've been grabbing at the chips and grabbing at the cookies, that's a signal to you to be able to stop and figure out what's going on in your life that you're not dealing with. And, you know, I do a lot of exercises with a lot of my Healing Haven folks. Hey, y'all, my Healing Haven folks, we do mindfulness practices. Mindful eating is one of the things that we talk about that's in my workbook. It's being present when you're consuming food, not on the phone, not watching TV, not all of these things. Don't eat chips and stuff while you're watching a movie because the whole bag will be gone and you just totally disassociated from your body. Your body's telling you you've had enough food. You can't be hungry, but really what you're starving for is connection and attention. That's a little bit of what we do in Healing Haven. Mindful eating exercises is to have nothing there and just be present with your food. Touch it, smell it, taste it, eat slowly. And I like intuitive eating personally. You know, don't stick to some diet. Get in touch with your body and try to figure out, okay, I think I would like to have something sweet. It's okay. So intuitive eating, mindful eating, mindfulness. I was talking about this yesterday with Joe. Hey, Joe, mindfulness is the answer for everything. Practicing mindfulness is the answer to all of the issues that are happening, as well as eating foods that you know is not good for you.
And unfortunately, people think there's a magic pill because, as I've actually said before, you know, when people ask me, how did you do it? I'm all for telling you how I did it. And this is what I did. And this is what I did. And they get these deer in the headlight look and they go, I'm not doing that.
I'm
You
not
know,
about to do that.
they want a magic pill. They want these shots, these Ozempics and Wegovy's, and they think that that's going to keep it off. When in actuality, once you get off of those things, you're right back to where you are. You need to face what the root of the problem is. Now, I will tell you guys, I told you I've been overweight all my life, and there's two things that caused me to help be overweight, and it's not just because I wanted to eat everything. It's because of that. I needed comfort. One, abandonment issues. My birth mother left me when I was 3 years old. And even though I knew that I was loved, I still had abandonment issues. Okay. So, and I was told, you better finish your plate. Well, okay, I'll finish my plate and give me another one. Okay. And then two, sexual abuse. I hid that because of that too. I didn't want to be attractive. I didn't want people looking at me. So the root of the problem is not just that you're eating more. You need to stop and look at why. Even though it's going to be tough to do, you have to see what the root of the problem is, period. But we have some great stats because this does affect you in so many different ways. 18% lifespan reduction. Eating ultra processed foods could shorten your life by nearly 1/5. Wow. Obesity connection. More than half the calories Americans eat come from ultra processed foods, contributing to weight gain. Childhood obesity. Over 19% of US children are obese, and processed foods are a major factor. Addiction factor. Many processed foods are designed to make you crave more, leading to overeating. There is massive studies showing what they're putting in the food to make you want more and more and more. So it's no longer just eating 3 little chips or 5 little chips. Once you get that trigger from what the additives that they put in there, you're going to eat the whole thing. You're going to eat the whole bag. So we are fighting this battle on all fronts. Mentally, spiritually, body, also what they want us to continue to do so that we continue to buy. So I'm going to ask you, Constance, do you think, what are the biggest barriers that you see to eating healthier?
So I think it's the biggest barrier is probably like how you were raised. I didn't develop good eating habits when I was a kid. Like Dr. Alicia, she was like, we didn't eat this, and I'm like, yo, every time I hear Alicia talk, I'm like, damn, why couldn't my parents be like yours? I can't say why couldn't I have your parents, but why couldn't my parents be like your parents? My parents is from Arkansas. My mama still eats chitlins. Did I really get offended? Like, why the hell are you eating this slave food? But growing up, I always went up and down. I've always gone up and down. I was, chubby when I was little. And my mama was so cruel. I used to be like, Mama, they laughing at me at school. She'd be like, quit eating then. And I'm like, well, that's not very
Nice.
Yeah, you didn't make me feel better about myself. It's like that grandmama said, you knew you was big before you went to school. It's like my mama was kind of like that. And then when I got older, like my ex-husband was thin. I would say we were like the number 10. I was a little rotund. And then I remember, he didn't eat a lot. And I used to be like, well, he's like, he don't eat to get full. But I'm like, but how do you know when to stop? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't stop until you get full. So I don't understand the concept. But my mama always said, because my mom used to be really thin, she used to always say, you don't eat to get full, you eat to just satisfy your hunger. But I think most people eat to get full, and we just crave certain things just because of, how we were taught growing up. We weren't taught healthy habits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, like I said, I was taught no matter what we had, they would fill my plate, but then they would also tell me I needed to eat everything on my plate, whether I was full or not. That was a requirement. And I did not do that with my son. Tiara, was that something that was a part of your life as well? Were you told to eat everything on your plate, or were you allowed to only eat until you were full?
Or I was going to get a whooping. You better eat everything on your plate, or you're going to sit there all night, or I'm going to whoop you. I'd be like, I don't want it. I don't want no more. I definitely had that. And what's so funny is that now when I go back to New Orleans, I can't eat the way that I did before I moved to California. So of course there was gumbo, there was all the things, all the buttery, savory things, the etouffees and all the things.
Please,
all the
please,
gravy.
please.
Yes.
I beg of
So
you.
good. Yes, the gumbos, the biscuits, all the things. And then I got to LA and I was like, oh, so y'all don't put gravy on it? You got a side of gumbo? Like it was that. And then and now I go back to New Orleans. I'd be like, do you guys have a side of kale? They be like, girl, go on out of here with that.
Right.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. So I had to learn. The culture in LA is very different. And I think in California in general is like you see people running down the street. It's always 70 degrees. So there's just a culture of going to the park and walking. And so it really changed my mindset around, and even when you said somebody said something, these big portions that we would have growing up, you think about how big your portion. It's like, let me give you 3 scoops of macaroni and cheese or mashed potatoes and all those starches, and you wonder why you like Constance said, a little rotund. It's not our fault. So I think I've learned living, thank God for California, and thank God that I moved here and was able to just be like, okay, there's vegan spots on every corner, just the culture.
You know, one of my favorite things in California, and I miss it so much, is the fruit man on the corner. You know, you can stop and you get the fruit, the fresh fruit. They chop it right there in front of you. You can put a little chili lime on it. You don't need no sugar because it's delicious. And I miss that so much that I tried to make it at home now. So like if I really want something sweet, I'll make a fruit bowl and use that little chili lime on top of it. Be a happy girl. So I'd rather have that than candy now. But I think, you know, it's just our communities who don't think about that. So if that's something you're doing to your child now, really think about that, because they may not be hungry. It's not that they're not ungrateful. Their little bellies are full. So that doesn't set them out on a good and healthy path, as well as
Can I say, to your point, like my ex, he used to do that. He would stock these little bitty kids with these grown ass plates, and then be like, you better eat your food. And so then I was like, you can't feed these kids adult sized portions and then whoop them when they don't eat it all. Like, and so, you know, yeah, but that's very common because that's something that was taught from generation to generation. You go get these kids all this food and whoop them if they can't eat it all. It's like crazy.
Right.
But that's
right. Or then reward them with something bad. If you eat it all, I'll give you ice cream. You know, like what the balance?
All the calories, 3,000 calories in one sitting. But you're not thinking, I mean, we haven't been trained to think that way. Have y'all ever seen the little boy? He has the glasses. I think the family is from New Orleans, but they give him these big.
He's not eating all that. He cannot.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yes, I watch him.
He be like, I just gotta give glory to God because my mama had made this food.
He be like, Mama, it's so good.
Like, but the plate is literally like this big, and he's just eating it. I said,
he can't be eating that whole thing. I'm like, this is just for presentation because they are not stuffing that little boy with all that food. Please.
I mean,
but I have actually seen it. I've actually seen it in Kentucky. That's the thing, because they say food is love, right? That and the more we love you, the more we gonna feed you. And as you get older, you start thinking, wait a minute. Food is love, and then you got a total disorder of thinking that food is love. Love loves me. If you ain't feeding me, then you don't love me. Or, you know, it's really hard when you put those things in people's brains at an early age. So yeah, I have actually seen that. Now, David Crothers says, I was in the hospital just recently due to my diabetes. My sugar was so high, 687. I was sick. I could have got worse. I was drinking a lot of sweet drinks, processed food too. So my next question for you, David, because now we all up in your business, thank you for sharing on that with us. So did you change your diet? Are you looking at changing your diet, and how are you doing that? We're so glad that you're still here with us, but how are you going to change this to help you be better? So we have a couple more graphics that I want to go through before we move on to the next break. But he mentioned diabetes. So the diabetes epidemic, processed foods and sugary drinks have doubled type 2 diabetes rates globally in the past 30 years. Let's back it up a little bit. People who eat, okay, thank you. I will do that next. My mother was diabetic. My auntie, who was a nurse, was diabetic. And when she came up, she was like, all you have to do is take this insulin shot and then you can eat anything you want. She was a nurse. Okay. So she told my mother that. So my aunt ended up having her leg taken. My mother, she couldn't keep her sugar in. And before she passed, I had to give her shots. That is absolutely traumatic. So I want to know, do you have a history with diabetes? Are you struggling with diabetes, or someone that you love very much in diabetes? Let's start with you, Dr. Alicia.
Okay, so it's interesting. My son, no, I don't have diabetes, but my son, his really good friend is doing cancer research. And they were talking over the Christmas break, and he said, Mom, he told me that with the cancer research, it doesn't even make sense to get a cure for cancer because there's already a cure for cancer. And I said, what? He was just like, staying away from the sugar, eating right, staying away from processed foods, exercise, dieting, no drinking, no alcohol, no drugs. That's the cure for cancer. We already have it. So they're researching all of these things. Oh, and being in a positive mental state. He said, if you can follow all of that, you'll not have cancer. And it's true. I mean, I love scientists. I like science. I like numbers. I like data. And we know without a shadow of a doubt why cancer rates are so high. It is directly connected to diabetes. Yes. Diabetes is the foundation of every disease that will take you out of here. And it's just unbelievable how people know this, have diabetes, and they still trying to go to Wendy's. They're still trying to go to McDonald's. They're still They can't make the connection, and they just have this desire for whatever's happening emotionally to do things that's going to destroy them. It's self-destructive.
It's an addiction.
Yeah.
Food is an addiction. It's an addiction like everything else.
What are you bearing? And that's another thing. Like, we get into this world where people aren't validated. They don't even want to talk about what's going on. When you silence someone's voice and tell them they're not worthy, what are you going to do? You're going to go to an addiction. And food, alcohol, drugs, all of these things is where we're at. We live in a toxic world.
Yes, and most people do not want to believe that. They do not want to believe that food is an addiction. Most people will tell you, just stop eating. Okay. All right. And with that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. Yes, yes, yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and review so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now back to the show.
Listen, when we tell you we do all the things, we do all the things. We come here, we talk about things that are of interest to our community. We help you master your mindset and your money. We give you great things to think about. We give you homework. We give you laughs. We sometimes talk about very difficult things, but we tackle them and give solutions. But listen, if you just are busy, you're just so swamped right now and you can't catch us live, the cool thing is we're on Spotify. So you can take us on that jog. You can take us in that car ride. If you can't listen to us live, you can go back and watch any of the ones that you've missed. So go to Spotify and make sure that you download us at Fly Nubian Money. Then give us a 5-star so everybody else can find us. But I just told you was busy, right? Because there's really no other reason that you would miss our show. But maybe you need to learn to delegate and get some work done that doesn't need to be on your plate. You could do that too. All you have to do is to email us and we can help you with the things that maybe you need a little bit of help with. Free up a little bit of your time at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Yes, we do. Oh, duh. Okay, we need to hit another video. I still am going to come back and tackle another question on with you guys, but let's check this out and let's see what you got to say about this one.
It's not an overstatement to say that I learned virtually nothing at Stanford Medical School about the tens of thousands of scientific papers that elucidate these root causes of why American health is plummeting and how environmental factors are causing it. For instance, in medical school, I did not learn that for each additional serving of ultra-processed food we eat, early mortality increases by 18%. This now makes up 67% of the foods our kids are eating. I took 0 nutrition courses in medical school. I didn't learn that 82% of independently funded studies show harm from processed food, while 93% of industry-sponsored studies reflect no harm. In medical school, I didn't learn that 95% of the people who created the recent USDA food guidelines for America had significant conflicts of interest with the food industry. I did not learn that 1 billion pounds of synthetic pesticides are being sprayed on our food every single year. 99% of the farmland in the United States is sprayed with synthetic pesticides, many from China and Germany. And these invisible, tasteless chemicals are strongly linked to autism, ADHD, sex hormone disruption, thyroid disease, sperm dysfunction, Alzheimer's, dementia, birth defects, cancer, obesity, liver dysfunction, female infertility, and more.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
Did you see that list? That list is so full. Autism in our babies. You know, our babies. They come out, and if you're not breastfeeding, not to shame anybody who doesn't, I'm just saying, but if you're, the things that we give them is going to be directly related to how they grow up in their health. So studies suggest that diets high in processed foods during pregnancy could impact autism rates. These are our babies, y'all. But here's how do we get around that when we know that there are places like Monsanto, whatever it is, have taken over the whole farming production, where our food is being grown with particular seeds. And if a farmer chooses to use another seed, they get punished for doing that. So our government has a lockdown on our processed food. So if you think you're even getting like really healthy greens and kale, they're being sprayed by pesticides, right? So it's difficult for us to wrap our heads around what we need to do other than what we are, unless we're growing it ourselves. So, you know, Aisha, I'd like to know, because you come from two different sides, and I'm going to talk about that too, you being overseas and then in America. So what small changes can someone make to cut back on processed foods?
Yeah, wow. That video was very loaded, right? Just listening to the statistics just make you want to actually cry that the government is allowing this to happen to its own people. These are the generations that will take care of this country, and what they're feeding them already is like, wow, you're setting up for failure already. I think some of the things that we could do, I am doing personally, is farmers market, right? Sometimes if you can't grow the foods yourself, your local cities usually have farmers that love to farm, and they have excess things they want to sell. You can just browse there and get a few things that will kind of reduce our need to go to the market to buy processed foods, right? But we have to make the time. The key is also prioritizing and making the time to make this work. And what I do to try to help me do this, because I know it's not easy. I have kids that are born here. And like Tiara was saying, Mom, we haven't had a hamburger for a long time. Can we have that today? Mom, my friends are having hamburger. Why can't we have hamburgers and French fries? So I have to also deal with those things as a mom from Africa that I wasn't raised with. We can't even afford to buy that when I was growing up. We didn't even think about eating outside. We only eat at home. No matter how much money we have, we always eat at home. So I'm used to just living my life in such a way. But with my kids, I try to balance it out, right? So go to the farmer's market, get what you can get, and also go to the markets that are halal or Jewish market, because they do not believe in chemical foods. So if you can go and shop there, down the street, we have a halal market. There's a Muslim market. Everything there, at least most of the fresh food, they are raised properly. The meat, everything, because they're very clean in their diet, goes into such place. And just, if you buy less, you eat less. You don't have to eat the processed food. And I also grew up fasting. We have to fast, right? So when you fast, you eat less. So really just little things like that can help you. You don't have to get away from the processed food sometimes, like the beans and the corn, but perhaps like do less of it. Go to the farmer's market, go to your local, garden that people have in the cities, and get some from there. And that will help to reduce your amount of processed food. That is what I think we can try to do, because our government is not helping us. We have to help each other with our neighbors and our local farmer's market.
I'm glad that you brought. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
I was just
Tiara.
going to add, because I know what Dr. Alicia said earlier about us being able to maybe not afford those things. But Dr. Alicia, I would beg to differ in the way that we spend money, the way we prioritize, right? Not saying that Black people not all Black people, I'm not generalizing, but I know that Black people, I know us, right? I know that we will prioritize certain things and deprioritize others. So it's it's easy to go get that $1 cheeseburger from McDonald's, but you have Jordans on your feet, or you have an expensive Gucci belt. I don't know, but don't see the value in going and spending that money on your food. So I would also just throw out for the people that are eating ramen because it's 90 cents to maybe fall back on something else that maybe make it a priority. Make it a priority because you want to live longer. You don't want your Gucci belt to live longer than you. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I would just
No,
say
I mean, can I respond to that? Yeah, I think it's still a problem because I lived in Black neighborhoods on the south side of Chicago for 8 years. And I know it's a food desert out there. There's no fresh grocery stores. I know there's some whistleblowers that the fruits and vegetables that you do see in the neighborhood, they're not as fresh as it is. You have to drive out to the suburbs just to do some decent grocery shopping. So I kind of beg to differ. I kind of feel like you are going to see a shoe store. You're going to see, what's the famous shoe store? I can't remember the name of the store. You're going to see shoe stores right there on the corner everywhere, but you're not going to see fresh places to get fruits and vegetables. Not in the south side of Chicago where I lived a lot of my life. My family is from there. You're not going to see that. It just wasn't available for you to be able, and the food stamps only went but so far. So I lived in that community. I worked with the beautiful people in that community. I worked in the schools. I did all my social work and training happened on the south side of Chicago. So I saw firsthand about the difficulties that a lot of the parents had with getting access to nice, fresh food.
Yes, and let's talk about that.
Sure.
We flashed up some really good graphics, and I want to bring those back up because I think they really need to be addressed. Because I touched on it too. Like in Louisville, they tried their best. The west side of Louisville, you don't get fresh food. So food access, millions of Americans live in food deserts where processed foods are only the option for them. Now we got liquor stores and everything else in the West Louisville, but not fresh vegetables and fruits at the grocery store. So, you have toxic food is fed to us all the time. It's totally killing us. And until we address the fact that we have to make sure that fresh food is available in all communities, this is not going to change. So check this out. Oxygen tank. Rapper Dave Blunt's recent performance at Chicago's United Center during the 4th annual Juice WRLD Day has become the talk of the town, but not for the right reasons. During the show, the 23-year-old rapper was seated on stage, hooked to an oxygen tank while performing. This is our reality. This is what we're seeing more and more of. And then you have people saying you should never be ashamed of your body. Well, we're not telling you to be ashamed of your body. We're telling you that you got to get to the root to love yourself more in order to see what the root of the problem is. Fat Joe talked about it all the time and why he lost so much weight. Big Pun, he directly talked about Big Pun and how Big Pun used to be slim and then he just didn't care. And then he went into a depression after a major issue happened in his life, okay? And that's how he ended up being Big Pun. He ate himself to death. So this is something that we do need to address. Depression, food deserts are very, very real. And we have a problem with us being healthy as people. We are sick. In some form and fashion, we are sick, whether it is addiction, depression, whatever it is, we have something that we have to get to the root of. Now, I do want to finish up a comment with David Crother because we did ask him if he's changed his lifestyle. And he said, I'm changing my diet, lifestyle, and walking 30 to 45 minutes. Not fun at all. Well, you know what, David? We're proud of you. We are so proud of you. You keep going. Because after a while, because when I lost my weight, that 30 and 45 minutes wasn't working for me either, brother. When I first started walking, I couldn't walk around the block. Okay. There was a hill in my neighborhood, and I would have to sit down on my neighbor's stoop before I walked up there. I walked only a block. Then I would come home and cry. Okay. Because I hurt. Then the more and more that I did it, I want to encourage you, brother. The more that I did it, the further I went. The further I went. Then I was like, damn it, I got up that hill.
Yeah.
Then one day I started saying, hey, I'm going to try this jogging thing. All right. 30 seconds. That's all I did. 30 seconds. But damn it, I did it. And before you know, I'm running 7 miles. Brother, I want to encourage you.
Come on, Lala.
You can do it. I know for a fact that you can do it. I believe in you, and we want you to check back in with us because you matter.
Yes.
And this is what I say. Be the light. Let me be your light today. Let me be your light today so that you can be the light for someone else behind you. We can do this together. I know this like I know, like I know, like I know. Face what it is that you need to face and press forward because we got you. We got you. And we can't wait for you to come back and tell us, hey, I dropped another 5 pounds this week. You got this, brother. We're proud of you.
Come on, Lala.
Right.
Lala. We know we can end the show on that note. Lala, listen. Oh, I love Lala. I love her heart, and she means that. I love it so much.
I mean it with my whole heart.
I know
mean it with my whole heart.
I know
it's not hopeless. It's not hopeless. See, everything we talk about on here, we do try to give you solutions. We give you different perspectives, and it's because we do love you. Because if we didn't, we wouldn't be doing this show to inform you and to help you get on your own feet. So I just want y'all to know that I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And so does everyone here. We're family and we have to keep it that way. Right? All right. Do we have another break?
We supposed to have a break. We supposed to have a video.
We gotta have. Let's do one break so I can take a deep breath. And I want y'all to soak all of that in. We'll be right back.
Do you want to make $1 million this year? What? Was that a yes? Oh, then guess what? You're in for luck. My name is Vanessa Gopal. I am a successful entrepreneur and owner of Winter Remodeling, Inc., a general contracting firm. Over my career, we've procured millions of dollars for myself and for clients. And I partner now with the Fly Nubian Money Club, where I'm going to teach you some of the successful business strategies that I use that involve B2B, in-face networking, and also B2C. Because one thing I do know is if you don't sell, then your business will surely fail.
Man, when I tell you we got things going on, we got things going on. Listen, the Fly Nubian Money Club. Y'all, this is new. This is something that's really going to push you further in getting your financial house in order. You're not going to be left behind because we're not going to let you. All right. So this next session is coming up soon. You're going to learn a lot from Vanessa. She's a smart lady, right? Okay. Well, she's not the only one that's been there. You just get all this extra stuff. Like we had a training last week with Athena who taught you how to do AI. No reason for you to get left behind with that. Don't let that stuff scare you. You better jump in and swim. All right. Then we had Constance. Who taught you how to bring shipping digits to your portfolio financials, right? Okay, now listen, you know you don't want to miss that. Constance keep you laughing anyway, right? Okay. Then you had me and my crazy self. All right. I taught you how to buy a house, and I taught you not only how to do that there in America, but also worldwide. Because you are a world citizen, baby. So if that ain't enough to convince you, I'm saying there's something wrong. Go ahead and sign up right now at flynubianmoneyclub.com and really get your financial house in order, right? Because that is what matters. Now, listen, I know we're kind of toward the end, but I do want to share one more video with you, and then we can go into final thoughts. But this is really important because this is the basics of living. you can't live without eating, right? So we have to learn how to relearn and program our bodies to be healthier. Let's check this out. We'll be right back. We gave you options and you can do it. Listen, sometimes when after you go back, if you get your habits together and then you go back and you have something that you had before, you want to spit it out because it doesn't taste the same. So when you treat your body right, your body will treat you right as well. So we've talked about a lot of heavy stuff today, but actually good stuff. So what are you going to do about changing your habits? Because we would love to hear your stories. Put them in the comment. If we've motivated you in any kind of way, we would love to hear your comments. But it's time for final thoughts. And I'm going to start with you, Constance. Final thoughts and where we can find you, love.
So I was actually looking at, just the different countries because when Aisha was talking, I was just trying to see, where my next move was going to be. And I see, some of the countries with the highest cancer rates, which are Australia, New Zealand, Denmark, the United States, and France. And then the ones with the lowest cancer rates are India, Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, and Pakistan. So you got to wonder why. The diets are different. The foods are different. They're organic. Just like Aisha said, they're trying to kill us. And then I said, okay, within America, what are the cancer rates among the races? And whites have the highest. They have the highest cancer rates, but blacks are die at a higher rate because of medical discrimination, early prevention, things like that. But out of all the races, 460 cases out of 100,000 for whites. African Americans, 440, Hispanic, 360, Asians, 330 out of 100,000, and Native Americans, 310. But the mortality rate is highest for us. We get 190 out of 100,000. White Americans, 170, Hispanic, 130, 110,000. So it says something to me because I'm always looking at things from an angle of how we can better ourselves as a race. So a couple of things we got to do. I mean, we know that we have these food deserts in our neighborhood, like Dr. Alicia said, which is important. Having this knowledge of the alternatives are out there. The reason why we have diabetes at such a high rate is because of the foods that are, first of all, we don't know how to eat. We haven't learned the correct way to eat. We're taught this whole food pyramid, which is also a scam. But then we have these food deserts in our neighborhoods, and they're exacerbating the cancer and the illnesses. And then we actually end up not getting the same treatments as our white counterparts. So I'm just saying, I want to encourage you all just to be more vigilant about your health. This is your temple. This is the only body that you will ever have in your life. And so just take care of it. That's all. Where can you find me? Everywhere. I am Constance Carter.
And she does mean everywhere. Constance is doing a lot of things right now, y'all. And if you don't follow her, then you won't know what she's doing, right? So make sure that you go and follow her at I Am Constance Carter. See all the beautiful things that she's doing, okay? Because she really means it when she's here to help you and raise your level. She means that. She means it. So make sure that you stock and chicken hawk. Dr. Alicia, what are your final thoughts and where can we find you, please?
Okay, so the cure for addiction is connection. The cure for overeating is connection. The cure for over drinking, all of the things in your life that's not good for you is connection. And I am here to tell you that I am hosting the blackloveweekend.com. Y'all know Joe gonna be there. Y'all know Miss Felice gonna be there. All the wonderful therapists that are really experts at connection. They're going to join me on the Black Love Weekend. That is Valentine's Day weekend, not the 14th, but the 15th and the 16th. That's Saturday and Sunday of February. Go to theblackloveweekend.com. General tickets are right now $99. Hello. And you can upgrade to a VIP and have personal one-on-one contact with Miss Felice, with Joe, and some other therapists that are wonderful. And they're just going to bring us a great weekend of connection. How to connect. If you're in a relationship with somebody, how can you strengthen that connection? If you're ready to get out there and start dating, what do you need to look at in terms of connection? And so that's the Black Love Weekend. It's the intimacy edition. It's the weekend of Valentine's Day, Saturday and Sunday. And go to theblackloveweekend.com. Be sure to get your ticket, digital ticket.
I love it. Right around Valentine's Day, the ultimate day of love. Dr. Alicia, that sounds so great. Make sure that you guys go and do that. The blackloveweekend.com. That sounds lovely. Because guess what? You can't really love nobody else fully if you don't love yourself. So Dr. Alicia got a big heart too. So you better go on and get some of that love because I know she's
Lala, you get a gold star today. If I knew you in person, I'd give you a gold star sticker. Because you self-disclosed all sorts of wonderful things today, and I'm very happy that you spoke.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. So Aisha, what are your final thoughts and where can we find you?
What an amazing show today. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your heart. I just love it and helping our community do well. I think my final thoughts is just keep things simple. If you are able to focus on what is on, the harvest that is happening there, whatever it's in season, try to swap that gradually with whatever you're eating that is processed. Just keep that simple and don't overthink it. If you just make simple changes every single day when you go to the market, the foods in season are cheaper. Just try to get those and then use them as much as you can and keep your diet simple. Don't eat things that you don't understand or you can read the labels. That's where I will start. That's my final thought. And you can find me at aishaverzi.com and at IG I'm Aisha GFI. And the GFI is God favored individuals because I believe in God, I love God, and I think if we just keep things simple, we'll be blessed. So thank you.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. And she's giving you where you need to go and stock the chicken up. Quack, quack. Don't do it right now. Okay. Don't put it off. Every last one of these ladies. I love them dearly. So you want to make sure that you check in with them and follow them as well to see when new things come up as well. So let's go to our beautiful producer, Tiara Williams. What are your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As someone who grew up in the projects, right? I grew up on served sandwiches and all the things that probably were detrimental to my health. I'll just say this, like it's just been about growing and exposing myself to other things and looking around and seeing what's available, making health a priority, making my health a priority, but also just like I said, stepping outside of those walls. Sometimes when you're trapped in situations like Dr. Alicia said, sometimes, growing up on the south side of, growing up and seeing these different projects or hoods or whatever, it just can feel like prison. But I encourage people to go outside of those walls of what it feels like and find things that can make you better and, expose yourself to different foods. Like I'm downloading cookbooks about like, okay, I don't know how to put these vegetables together every week and just trying to put things together. It's not perfect, but I know in the long run, it's not sugar, which will make me have cancer in the long run. I just know it's just starting with the little bit that you have and prioritizing yourself. So I would just say that as my final thought. Also, like we said earlier, Vanessa Gopal is coming to the Fly Nubian Money Club. I'm so excited to have her. She's doing a sales training and to help entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an influencer, whatever you are doing with your life, listen, if you are trying to sell a product, if you don't know how to sell that product, then your business will certainly fail, is what Vanessa says. So I just wanted to make sure that you all have access to somebody that's going to be teaching you these skills that you need. So come to flynubianmoney.com. Can you put that banner down there for me, Gwen, please? flynubianmoneyclub.com. Right now we have a 30-day trial. So even if you're, if you're saying, man, I wish I can go, you can come. There's nothing stopping you. We're making sure that you get exactly what you need to take it to the next level. I love you, and I'll see you in class in a couple weeks. You can find me at Miss Black Hollywood. That's MSBLACK Hollywood on all platforms.
Yes, you can. And that is what she is, Miss Black Hollywood. She does it all. She runs this. She can help you with your business. She's got beautiful things coming up. She cares enough about you that she put this FlyNubianMoneyClub.com together. And guess what else you get, y'all? I have a freebie for you. When you do go to FlyNubianMoneyClub.com, I have a free budget guide for you. And it's not just some do this, put money here, blah, blah, blah. It literally is a workbook, 14 pages. And it's going to walk you through budgets. Like, what is debt to income? Am I spending more than I'm bringing in? Well, it really makes you look at what you're spending. 14 pages for you to work through and really get yourself together. And then you couple that with Fly Nubian Money Club. And then you couple that with all of our freebies that we give on our website. And then you come back here and you learn some more. And hey, you got a plan. Yeah. So that's all you have to do. Make sure you go to FlyNubianMoneyClub.com to get that freebie, because we love you enough to give it to you. All right. Now, listen, here's what I got to say. It just takes one step. That's all. You cannot do everything overnight. Just because you have maybe gained 20, 30, 40 pounds, sometimes 100 pounds. Okay, I've lost 130. You can't lose that overnight. There is no magic pill. But what you can do is to take one tiny step a day. If that means that you're going to not drink 10 sodas and go down to one, okay, good. If that means you're not going to eat McDonald's today, you're going to go home and make your own hamburger, that's a positive step. Start where you are, but never give up on you. Told you I've been overweight my whole life, struggled with my whole life. I'm 54. I'm finally getting it together and love myself enough to tackle the things that caused me to be unhealthy. And you can do it too. So where you can find me is www.MyNameLauraKey.net. I have a lot of freebies there for you, great blogs for you to read about real estate and also possibly moving abroad. If that's something that you want to do, you can actually do that. But you need to see where you are, starting process. I have a quiz there that you can see if this is something that just may fit into your lifestyle. So go to www.laurakey.net. Now, listen, we've had a wonderful show today, and I want to say thank you to a lot of our viewers today. We had Leather and Luxury Cars. We had Joe. We had Black Lexicon. We had Terry Wilson. We had Armando. We had Double A. We had Deborah Wynn. We had Chairman of the Poor. We had so many beautiful people joining us today, and we are grateful for you. So thank you so much for being with us today. And listen, thank you for hanging with us. It's a longer show today, and we know that you could be somewhere else. But thank you for flying with Fly Nubian Money today. We hope this conversation opened your eyes to the risks of processed food and the changes we can make today. Remember, your health is your first wealth, and the choices we make every day matter. Share this episode with someone you care about. Stay connected with us for more real talk. And let's keep building healthier lives and stronger communities. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Peace out.